Well, welcome to this episode of the Weekly Word. Father Ed here.
Brother Dominic.
And now we are really missing Deacon Kyle because he's finished. Yesterday was his last day, so no more Deacon Kyle. He's gone from our midst. So we're like the apostles in the upper room, waiting for his return on June 10th. Father Kyle Rosser will be back in his spot, I'm presuming, or wherever he, what they say, where does a 800-pound gorilla sleep?
Wherever it wants.
Wherever it wants. So Father will have to figure out where he's going to find his perch. So we are looking at the fifth Sunday of the Easter season, and we are looking at the inaugural Mass, the beginning of what they call the inaugural Mass of the Petrine ministry of Pope Leo XIV. That's also on this Sunday. And a little local color here, the ordination to the priesthood of Kyle Rosser on Saturday, the 17th. And then the first Mass of Thanksgiving celebrated by Father Rosser on Sunday, May 18th in Lorain, Ohio. So, and the scriptures have given us Jesus' commandment to love one another. And he goes on to say that not only should you love one another, but that is the way that will be the distinguishing characteristics of my disciples, is that the way in which they love one another.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and this is what the early in the early church. This is what non-Christians realized as well. So Jesus said, your love is going to reveal your Christianity, and non-Christians are like, okay, these people are weird because they're very nice and very loving, even to people they're not supposed to like. And so that was the early distinguishing factor of Christianity, and hopefully still is today, is the fact that if we receive God, who is love, especially on a regular basis, that should transform us to look particularly different than everyone else around us. So yeah, I think reflecting on kind of our cultural life, there's that funny reality where when you pass by somebody, oftentimes you think you're given a nice smile, but most of the time you just look like this. You're just, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to pass by you. I don't want to interact with people, but I'm just going to pretend like I smile now. We should hopefully strive to transform our lives by love. The way that we interact with people should allow people to walk away and be like, there was something different there.
Yeah. So this might be a challenge for us in our daily life, family life, married life, priestly life, obviously, is that it seems I'm often trying to make an exception for myself as to why I don't have to follow this commandment of Jesus, because there's overriding circumstances here. There's other things, well, because they have been mean to me, or because they don't follow Jesus very well. So there's many reasons that might excuse me from not loving them. Jesus, of course, in other places, no, you not only have to love one another, you have to love your enemy. Then he says you have to love the ones that are persecuting you. And then, of course, he shows us from the cross, right? When he forgives and loves from the cross, even those that are putting him to death. So I think I would say, I don't know, I've been hearing confessions maybe a little bit longer than Father Dominic here, but I think this is the number one thorn in the flesh. I know people think, well, it's my bad thoughts, it's my sexual sins, it's my even gossip. I think the inability to love and actually the unwillingness to love and the excusing ourselves from loving, that might be the so Jesus' command that this is the way they will be able to tell if you're really my disciple is, can you love the way I love? And so it's a big challenge for us. The second reading is continuing from the book of Revelation, and this is a typical funeral reading that we have, and it's so beautiful. And it says that I, John, saw a new heaven and a new earth. I saw a new Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, uh, bedecked or dressed like a bride prepared to meet her husband. So often when I have the funeral of a married person, I think they naturally go for that reading, as it's one of the choices. But we certainly see marriage and the commitment and the self-sacrifice and love of husband and wife as maybe the brightest manifestation of Jesus' command to love one another. Most people in the world are married, and it's obviously not easy. But it is certainly a shining example, especially for our children and our grandchildren. The ability to love one another really is the light of God shining through husbands and wives into the world, and especially in the church. We say that marriage is the building block of church communities. So shout out to all of our married people.
Yeah.
And Deacon Kyle on his ordination, Pope Leo on his inauguration. So, well,
Yeah. I guess the last thing is the first reading. Where can I go on
backwards.
But the first reading talked about how hardships are our path to the kingdom of God, and I think that brings in marriage and vocation. Is that life is better with marriage ideally, but life is actually easier if you don't get married. Just do whatever you want. Just enjoy all your money that you save. Um, but marriage and our vocation gives us meaning, because they often are challenging. And especially, I think, looking at our congregation, looking at people who live in nice houses with good properties, who might be retired or might have a lot of comfort. This should challenge us. If we have no hardships in our lives, um, then we need to figure out some way to take on other people's hardships, maybe, or take on tasks that God is calling us to challenge ourselves to lead us to the kingdom. And so, uh, another good way to express our love. How can we? If my life is pure comfort, then God's saying, well, it's going to be hard to jump into the kingdom of God if you're just living that way. And so let us also enter into maybe some discomfort, some hardships, to help other people, but also to allow us to encounter God's kingdom.
All right. So, what does it mean to love? Lay down your life for your friends. So, good advice. All right. Peace.